Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Time Gal. I'm your host, Caitlin Peluffo. Thank you for tuning in. This week on the podcast, we have Sam Evans, who I just recorded with, and he is in my living room right now, and I feel so uncomfortable doing this intro with him right next door. He can hear me. He can hear everything I'm saying. He's great. He's lovely, which is why I'm whispering, because I don't want him to know that. You can't have boys walking around with confidence. What the hell? But he's one of my favorite people on the planet. He is so sweet, and this was a really fun conversation. He has a brand new album out called Sweet Baby Boy, and it's really funny. You can see it on Spotify, and his tags, oh my goodness, his Instagram handles are at Really Sam Evans, and he's just a gem. He's a gem of a human being. I really, really liked this conversation. We took a few tangents, but they're all good. I think. I don't know. You'll learn a lot about me and why I should never play sports again. But here we are. It is my past. I cannot change it. All I can do is drink through it. So what are you going to do? But again, thank you for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Good Time Gal Pod. You can follow me at Caitlin Peluffo on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. And if you could like and subscribe and tell a friend about this podcast, that would be great. And if you leave a comment on iTunes, I might be doing a gift card thing eventually. I don't know. I just need people to do it. And I know that y'all are listening. I literally see who is listening. And I love you all from the bottom of my heart. But give your girl a 5-star. You know what I mean? Just do a little bloop. That would be, I don't know if that's how stars sound when you hit it, but just hit something, because I'm hitting my head against the wall. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sorry. I should make someone be in the room when I do these intros so that I don't ramble and get weird. I'm still whispering. I'm a fucking psychopath. Okay, anyway, thank you for listening to this, and please enjoy Sam Evans. He's just wonderful. Have a good life. Oh, fuck. I love you. Okay, well, you know what? It's rolling, and we're going to see what happens. It's too late for any of that, Sam. Hello, Sam Evans.
Hi.
Thanks for doing this podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Fun fact, that jingle you just heard was a doodle by Mr. Sam Evans himself.
Can I tell you that I have done podcast music for my own and other podcasts before, and I have about a 50% success rate where I have sent podcasts and they're like, thanks, it's great. And then like weeks later, they'll be like, it's not my song. So I'm like, all right, well, you paid me, but you didn't have to pay me if you didn't like it. And I feel terrible. So I'm so glad that you liked it.
Oh, I love it. That's so funny. Yeah. Also, your rates are pretty low. So
yeah, I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, they're going to just they're like, it's fine. If I don't like it, I just won't use it.
Yeah, I guess we just never talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Okay. And poor Steve, I think, hates it only because when I first got it, I loved it so much I kept singing it around the house.
Oh, yeah.
And it would get stuck in my head. And he's like, for the love of God, just get it out of you. But it's there.
But that's what you want. You want it to be infectious.
Yeah. Let it infect the eardrums of those listening to its abundance. Yeah. It's just very clever. And then I split it into 2. We got an intro and an outro. Oh, that's good. Yes. I felt very professional, even though this is the most rinky-dink podcast.
I think it's very professional. You got me 2 drinks. That's above the bar for me. So.
Oh yeah, you get a coffee with some milk, 2%. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you put in your coffee usually, if you had anything?
It's either this or a big thing I got turned on to in the pandemic is, I don't know why I said it like that.
In that pandemic.
My roommate he puts a tub of what is it called? Sweetened condensed milk. And if you put a spoonful of sweetened condensed milk in coffee, it's perfect. It's the perfect amount of creaminess and sugar. It's not overly sweet. It's wonderful.
Sweetened condensed milk? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's used a lot in baking. You ever had dulce de leche, like cake and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's used in that.
Oh.
Like that. Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Dulce de leche? I'm not saying it right. every one of your Hispanic listeners is like this white bitch.
This gringo motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, gang. But it's fantastic in coffee. It's,
Yeah. You guys got the right idea there.
Yeah.
Well, you're originally from Cincinnati. I can tell by the shirt that you're wearing.
I'm originally from the Toledo area, but
All
I
right.
tell everybody I'm a liar.
I mean.
You're just finding out I'm a fraud. I say Cincinnati to comedy people because that's where I started comedy. I went to college there, and I lived there for like 7 years. And honestly, to me, that feels like, I guess, home now.
Yeah.
That's not true. New York does, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Did you start? You started in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I started there.
In college?
After college, I was working as, right when it ended. Yeah, I was working at a bar as a bar back, and
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, and I started it. I actually had a guy that I worked with at the bar, and he was like, "What are you gonna do with your life?"
Oh
And I was
no,
like, Jesus! And that was what led me to be like, all right, well, I've always wanted to
yeah.
try. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
can't be a bar back forever.
I know.
Although
right?
my ex-boyfriend has tried. So
Burn, bitch.
yeah, he wants to bar back.
I mean, depending on where you're at, it's good money. But
yeah. No, he always made rent. So
you don't want your kids. This is my father, the bar back.
yeah. They call him Big Tim when he's changing kegs. Yeah, that's my dream.
Yeah.
Get boned up by Big Tim. What was the bar that you worked at in college?
There was a handful. At first, I worked at a place called Blackfin.
Oh, that sounds
And-
sophisticated.
Yeah. And then in the back, during the day, it was Blackfin. It was a sports bar, and then at night they would open a back area, and it was Sweet at Blackfin, SUITE.
Oh,
And it was like a night. All the bars I worked at were very nightclubby, so you would make a lot of money on the weekends.
that's nice.
Yeah, and then I worked at another place called Lunar, which was space themed. And then another place called Scene, and they were all very trendy.
That sounds like the most trendy.
Very
Scene.
trendy. Yeah.
Have you been seen at Scene?
I was. I watched Adam. This is a good story. I watched Adam Pac-Man Jones, a former cornerback in the NFL for the
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals. Watched him get in a just bare knuckle brawl at Scene, wearing a neck brace.
Oh no!
And I watched him swing an empty champagne bottle and hit my boss at the time in the back of the head with it. And then the next morning on the news, I saw him in the same neck brace going, I didn't do anything. And I was like, all right, Adam Pac-Man Jones, you are a liar.
They should ask the bar back.
Yeah, I was there.
Did anyone press charges?
I don't think my boss did. I could be wrong, but no, I don't think so. Because
Oh.
he's a big spender. you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, it's
So-
okay that you tried to murder me.
Yeah, yeah.
If you get hit with a full champagne bottle, you're dead.
Mhm.
That's heavier than
sure.
a baseball bat.
Yeah,
Like you're
Yeah.
crushed.
I could not believe he was okay. But he counted the safe that night. It was
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
yeah. That night I realized that every man is more of a man. I watched another bartender push another guy, a giant man, against the wall and just hold him there so he couldn't fight anymore. But that guy that he was holding against the wall just was punching him in the face. And the bartender didn't move. He just held him there. And I was like, this is the most insane level of manhood I've ever, you know what I
Was
mean?
that also at Scene?
That was at Scene. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This place, is it still open?
The last time I checked, that was the only one I worked at that was open. I don't know if it still is or not.
Did you ever get in any fights?
Never. In fact, one time a fight broke out, and I was working as a barback, and I went to go help some bouncers. This is so funny. Bunch of huge dudes just fighting because, like, athletes and, like, roided out college bros would show up. And a huge fight broke out, and we had these big bouncers, but I was like, this is gigantic. I got to go help. And then a girl looked at me walking towards it, and she goes, "You're going to stop that?" And I swear to God, I went, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to. And I just turned around. It was great. I should find that girl and thank her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be missing some teeth right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you wouldn't be counting the safe, I feel like at
No.
the end of the night, you'd
Yeah.
be done.
Yeah, I'd be very hurt.
See, women, we may be catty, but
Yeah.
we save
It's
lives.
the voice of reason. Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, they're gonna tire themselves out. Just-
Were you, because you're not a small man.
no,
I
but
would
I'm
say.
not. I think I've been in like half a fight in my life.
What was the half a fight?
It was actually like a year ago. It was after a comedy show. that my girlfriend hosts. She wasn't there that night. But there was just a guy who had been talking through the show, and the producer, after the show, he had, like, shushed them during, and then after was like, you can't talk because it's rude. And the guy just, like, it didn't register. He was like, what the fuck's your problem? Fuck you.
Oh,
and then I won't say him by name because I don't know if he wants me to speak about him getting in fights. But a person that we both know who does not shy, a sweet, wonderful man, but doesn't shy away from confrontation, eventually walked over, and I was about to leave, and I was like, I gotta stay because I know a fight's gonna happen. And sure enough, it broke out into a fight, and all I did was just grab the guy who wouldn't shut up through the show around the waist and just pulled him out of the bar with another guy. That's the most.
So your fighting is spooning.
Yeah, it's really, just lovingly holding you.
Yeah, we're gonna go over here
pulling
now.
you away. Yeah. That's.
You're such a big man. You're so strong. You're so strong. I love you. I love my hands around your waist. You make me feel safe.
Yeah. That's it. I've never thrown a punch.
I love that you call that half a fight. Yeah. That is
so
you're
barely
actively trying to not fight.
Yeah.
So much
trying to stop other people from fighting.
You go up behind the guy and hug him.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you consider yourself taken.
Yeah. I was impressed with myself afterwards. I was like, look at me. Oh, what a man I am. Yeah.
Oh, no. Real men don't say that.
No, they don't.
Could you imagine the guy getting punched in the face being like, look at me.
God, I'm such a man.
I'm holding you back. It doesn't even hurt. Try and hit me a little bit more. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
So how long were you at scene?
I can't remember. All told, I was probably working in bars in downtown Cincinnati for 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like my last year of college through maybe 6 months before I left Cincinnati for New York.
Oh, so you left really quick.
Yeah, I was just under 3 years when I moved to New York. I had been doing comedy. Yeah.
Did you drink on the job? Because restaurant sets, I feel like all you do. You just take shots and try and get through the night.
Yeah, it was not so much on the job because it was like hard work actually. But afterwards, I had a real bad spell. I do not want to glorify this, but I had a real bad spell where I was like driving drunk, and I finally had a good friend who I was living with him, and we were like driving to the same place, and he was like, why don't you just ride with me? And I was like, no, I'll drive. And he was like, listen, you're going to drink tonight, and that's okay, but you do this all the time. And it hadn't registered with me. And
really?
Yeah. And he was like, you have to stop. It's crazy. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, nothing like peer pressure to make you do the right thing.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was like a giant problem, but if you're doing it once, it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't worry, Sam. You're not alone. The amount of times people have been like, I drive drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Often. I have to be like, well, at the beginning, there's always the sentences. So we don't like when people drive drunk. Don't do it. Just because they've all had successful runs does not mean.
David Drake has that great joke where he goes, we don't all have a DUI, but we've definitely all been eligible for one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
There's that little borderline where you're like, well.
Yeah.
Although I will say that driving, like getting my license revoked is like the scariest thing to me. Sure. So it's not even, I feel like a terrible person because I won't drive like even after, I think I've had like 2 glasses of wine and then been like, oh, who am I?
Yeah.
But just because it's not even like I might hurt someone. It is that they would take away my license.
Yeah.
That's what does it for me.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Then I'd have to be like, well. So not that I murdered a whole family. It's that someone found out.
Yeah. Oh, I need a ride.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I have to Uber everywhere to pay for plane tickets. Okay. So you're a little driving drunk.
Yeah, I had a bad spell, and that kind of coincided with drinking a lot. I was never an alcoholic because I could stop and I could have nights where I had 1 beer,
Yeah.
But I think it was just college, and the tail end of college and really wringing out every last bit of, I'm going to drink a lot tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember anything.
So you black out?
Oh yeah, a lot of blackouts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
I'm
Scary
ready.
amount of blackouts.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you black out easily or?
No. Yeah. So I would drink like a lot, Now
Yeah.
I would black out easily
Mhm.
because I don't drink much anymore. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was talking to Corinne Fisher,
Uh-huh.
and she said that if you black out, it happens once, and then after that, there's no telling when it's going to happen, but it will happen pretty much every time you drink.
Really?
Yeah, she read something about it because she blacks out, and was my understanding. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably just hearing what I want to hear. Like, it's not your fault.
But what if you have like
But
one beer? You're gonna black out?
she said that it can happen. Like
Really?
something's going to trigger the switch, and the switch is just going to go.
I don't
No,
know.
because you blacked out one time and it turns it on.
Yeah.
And so some people, it never gets turned on.
Hmm.
And so those are the people who don't black out. But if you are a person who blacks out, it's just, you can try all you might. And it's
Mine has been turned on. I'll tell you that.
oh, yeah, that switch has been flipped. Yeah.
Do you want to? When you asked me to do this, I thought of 2 stories.
Oh,
Do you want me to tell you one really good blackout story?
yeah, sure.
Quote unquote, really good.
Sure.
Uh,
Do you kill a whole family?
I don't kill a whole family.
Great.
The
Then-
only harm is to myself.
Oh, wonderful. You seem to have all your limbs. Let's do this.
Yeah, it was like the last couple years of college, kind of while I was barbacking. And what would happen is I would have like to work at the bar Thursdays and Saturday nights.
Mhm.
So I would get Friday off, and it was like, I'm going crazy.
Yeah,
because
of
it's my
course.
one weekend night.
Yeah.
And down the street from my apartment, my best friend and I had 1-bedroom apartments across from each other my last year of college. And they had just opened a Quiznos that we had been like anticipating. Because we were like, love Quiznos. It's going to be great. And we found out that they had opened it late night. They were serving like all the college kids drunk. That was their grand opening
Mm-hmm.
because it was right on campus. And they had, in the course of opening up, I guess, getting all this new inventory in, they had opened a bunch of like cardboard boxes, just a mountain of it that they had left on the sidewalk for trash pickup. And it's huge. And I saw it. I'm fucked up beyond belief, just blacked out. And me and my friends are walking home, and I go, boxes! And I run, and it's a crowded college street at night, and I just run and swan dive into them, and everybody is, and this has all been told to me later. Everybody's like cheering, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the fucking king. And I get up to do it again, and my friend, and I do vaguely remember this, he goes, don't, you're gonna hurt yourself. And I was like, that'll be fine. I go to do it again, wildly over gauge, and fly face first into the brick wall behind the pile of boxes. So I truly just swan dive, conk my head on a brick wall, and then land in the boxes. And apparently my friend was like, the same crowd of people that cheered you just go, oh! And a girl I didn't know was like, honey, you gotta go home. And my friends took me home. And I woke up the next day, didn't remember it, but so hungover, or what I thought was hungover, just dying the whole day. And my friend was like, yeah, you hit your head. He was like, honestly, we probably shouldn't have let you fall asleep. And I made him drive me to the hospital. They took an x-ray or whatever, CT scan. And they were like, yeah, you were concussed. You should not have fallen asleep. The nurse was like, yeah, you remind me of my son. He's an idiot like you. That was my biggest blackout story from college.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How long did that headache last?
Like a day. They gave me pain meds, not anything high grade, but just enough where I was like, oh, thank God. They did it like through an IV because they had checked me in, and as soon as they gave me that, I was like, oh, I feel better finally.
What happens if you fall asleep with a concussion?
I don't know, but like bad things can happen.
Yeah.
I think like that maybe it can lead to an aneurysm or something like that, but you're not supposed to. It's like very bad. If you're concussed, you're supposed to stay awake until you can get checked out by a doctor and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I apparently have had 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
Soccer.
yeah. And my mom kept coming in to make sure that I was not, like, she was like, you're going to be in a coma.
Yeah, something can happen. It won't necessarily, but you have to be careful.
That's also not how my mom sounds. I don't know why.
Is your mom Renan Hirschberg's mom?
She's a very Catholic.
Caitlin!
You gotta get in a coma. You gotta wake up, chickadee. She's also an old-timey news reporter. I don't know, but Louise is great.
Sure.
But yeah. And but she
my-
also was like, don't she was also like, I should have checked on you earlier because I
Yeah.
forgot. And I was like, all right, well, I guess nothing bad happened. So
happened.
now I'm like,
How does it happen in soccer? Is it just like a full-on collision? Like,
yeah, I got one from knocking heads with someone, and then another one I think I got an elbow to the head.
mhm.
I can't remember. The second one was in college, and I didn't go to the hospital either time.
Did you ever? This is a tangent, but I'm interested. Did you ever
Please.
get in fights in soccer? How
Oh, yeah.
aggressive does it get?
It gets very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, I've made people cry. I was a different person.
We
And
all were. It's
I know,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it comes out every once in a while. I think you saw it the other night when I was just whoo,
Yeah.
get real. It's more with women. What I have found is that it's more psychological.
Mhm.
So like I remember I'll give you two stories. One time I was going against a girl who was taller than me, and she used to be. We were playing on the club team in college, and we both used to be on the varsity team at college. And then we both got cut.
Mhm.
And so I, for some reason, was like, I need to prove that I am better than
her.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
So even though she had like 4 inches on me, she was a huge bitch.
Sure.
And so the whole first half, I just kept hitting her and hitting her and hitting her and knocking her over and just hitting her. Like, you can go in for a tackle, but I would come in just
Sure.
5 times harder than I needed to. And then just really, and then I would make her fall, and she would just go flying. And sometimes I'd hit her after the ball was gone, but the refs weren't looking. And then the one time I hit her
Is she on? This is a girl on your team.
off,
right?
no, on another team.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Keep
We
going.
she was playing for UC Santa Barbara. I was playing for UC San Diego.
Okay.
And the final time I just hit her and she fell. And she looked up at me and she started crying and she goes, "Why are you doing this to me?"
Did you back off then?
I laughed. I laughed in her face. Just right in her face, and then I kept going with the play because I wasn't doing fouls. Whenever I hit her late, it was a foul, but
Sure. But you're
everything
getting
else,
away with it. if
I was
you
getting
do.
away with
Yeah.
it. And then she got subbed out, and then halftime happened, and then she came back and she like wouldn't even engage with me. They like moved her positions or something like that,
Mhm.
and so, and then I ended up scoring the game-winning goal.
Mhm.
And we won 1-0, and I for sure think that she would curse me to
Yeah.
this day. It's one of those situations where I was like, that person will remember me until she's dead,
Sure.
and she hates me.
Yeah.
Anytime I have bad karma, it's like that's what it is, and
Yeah.
I deserve it.
I feel like because we're the same age.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a huge thing for me. Even after I started comedy, like interpersonal things that you remember being like, God, that guy was such an asshole to me.
Mhm.
And then somebody will ask you, well, what happened? And then you recount the events and they're like, they were an asshole to you. That's how you see this? And it's healthy and like, oh God, it's
Yeah.
so hard to.
It helps you close the book, but ooh,
For sure, yeah.
you understand if their book's still open.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe I'm not always the hero of the story.
Yeah, for sure. Back when I was really competitive, I was overcompensating for a lot.
Sure.
And I was just trying so hard. But like with girls, like there'll be like comments. I had a girl who would pinch my side fat while she was marking me.
Uh-huh.
And I said something like, yeah, that's my fat, but what are you going to do about your nose? Like literally, like just, yeah, like that's the stuff. And then even
But
when
also, I'm still on your side in that one because that is,
Yeah.
I have, I've always had like a belly,
Mhm.
and I've talked about this before, but like that's something that like men do to each other
Mhm.
that has never. But I've had like dudes that I'm like not friends with,
yeah.
like, and for no reason. It's not
Mhm.
like an athletic situation. There's nothing, but they just come up and like grab my belly, and I'm like, I'll fuck it. I'm the least violent or confrontational person, and I'm like, I will kill you, dog.
Yeah.
Like that. I hate that shit. It's such a invasive, horrible thing. you know?
Yeah. But then I would do horrible shit too. Like I
Sure.
would yank on girls' shirts. I would pull their shorts down. Not all the way down, but just like a little bit so that they're
Sure.
not focused on the ball.
Sure. During a
That's
game.
During a game. Yeah. And
so
then
she did this to you mid-game.
oh yeah, this is all during a game. Yeah. And so it's just basically so you're not looking at the ball, you're not focused, you're out of your head.
Yeah.
And then but then I found like I had to stop playing intramural. Like I would play co-ed league in New York, and I was still hitting.
And people were
and a girl, she was like, if you hit me again, I will fucking kill you. And then another girl came up behind me and punched me in the back of the head. Like it's too much. I become too much.
Sure.
And I'm doing things that are legal, but it's a fucking co-ed game.
Yeah.
Why do I need to make this woman cry?
Yeah.
Like,
is this like NYC Sports or something?
yes,
Like that? Yeah.
it was. And I was just.
That's so funny because I used to, my first job here, I worked the front desk at the Y, and I would see people come in for those games, like soccer, basketball, whatever. And mostly it was like very easygoing, and then occasionally I'd be walking through the gym and just see a guy blow up at another guy. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I would never really get on my own team, but I would just really try and like, I don't know what I'd like prove I could have been somebody, you know. But it's so sad that I was like, I can't play anymore.
I get it though. College, Carmen has. I mean, I don't want to tell her story, but that's college athletics kind of can haunt you. In a way, right?
They do haunt. They
Yes.
do haunt. Like I made the team my first year. I was a red shirt. And then I was the last person to get cut on my sophomore year. And it was because I discovered drinking. I got out of shape. I had gained 10 pounds, you know. But I was still like, I was like, I'll think about that day forever.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But we're getting a little sad here.
Okay. No, you just said it was the best thing that ever happened.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. But it was still it's haunting.
Yeah, you always, it's that hindsight is 20/20.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's like if I had actually gave a damn, then anyway. So,
you want to play the wistful regret game?
Oh,
your boy will play.
Let's play. What's your regret?
Oh God, every moment for no. I have a good life. I feel very good. I feel grateful for what I have.
Good for you.
Doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes.
We have lived and we have learned.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you jump into a bag of boxes, a whole thing of boxes. That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't have urine all over the boxes.
You know what? There is no one here who could tell you that it did or did not. I'm sure nobody around was sober enough to say it didn't. It probably did. Honestly, haven't thought about that until right now. So that tells you a lot about me.
Literally, you were telling me that story, and in my head, because I've been in New York for a decade, I was like, there is a man underneath all those boxes, and you just fucked up his house.
Oh, maybe. Or there is a lot of dog piss on those boxes.
For sure. Or human piss.
Sure. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The way that my sort of a fun addendum to that story is I called my mom when I was in the hospital. I was like, hey, this happened. I'm really sorry. Hope you're not mad at me. And then my mom freaked out a little bit, but she was like, all right, well, are you fine? I was like, yeah. And then she called my dad, and my brother was at home from school. And the way he relates the story is that my mom hangs up with me, says to him what happens, and then she calls my dad, tells my dad what happens. And my brother's like, there's a long pause, and then she's like, Daryl, stop laughing. So that's kind of fun. Yeah.
Well, Daryl got to know that you were fine ahead of time.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's how moms preface it.
Yeah.
He's fine, but just want to let you know.
Sure.
And then it's funny. Whereas you're like, Mom, I have a concussion.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your mom's name again?
Connie
and Daryl.
Great parent names.
Yes.
Right?
Very good parent names. Mine's Gary and Louise.
I mean. There you go.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
God. So then you moved to New York, right?
Yeah, I go from that into comedy, and I'm doing comedy for a couple years. And as I'm doing comedy, the first couple years in Cincinnati, I'm starting to taper off drinking. You know? I still do, but it's also, for me, it was always just an age thing.
Yeah.
If I could drink more and my body could deal with it, I would, but I can't. And after almost 3 years, I moved here.
Yeah.
Had never lived outside of Ohio before.
Wow. Were your parents drinkers?
No.
Not at all.
Hardly. My mom is the kind of They were, but not. My mom would have one margarita, and if my mom got a second margarita, it was like, this is crazy. There's this restaurant we go to, Casa Baron, and they had these little personalized cups. They were part of the Casa Baron Club. And she'd be like, oh, I'm going to get a second margarita. And
who's your mom?
She's
the Colonel?
She's Southern. Yeah, it does vaguely sound. I'm the Colonel, my secret recipe chicken. She's from North Carolina. So when she drinks, her accent really comes out, or when she gets angry or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a second one. It was crazy. And then my dad, they were both like occasional one drink with a meal drinkers.
Yes.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm very churchy. I went to church a lot growing up.
Oh.
So it was like that kind of house.
Well, that's fun.
No, well, is it?
I was trying to be like, that's a nice example. You believed in something?
I did. I was a sincere believer when I was younger, and even kind of into my teenage years.
What kind of believe?
It was the church denomination is called the Christian and Missionary Alliance. So it's relatively young in church terms. It's like 100-year-old. But it's basically a Protestant church with a big emphasis on missions, sending people overseas, setting up churches. When I was a kid, we would have missionaries come and stay with us maybe once or twice a year because they would be back stateside sort of soliciting for funds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Wow.
And I went on missions trips and stuff like that.
You did?
Yeah, never overseas, but my brother did, and my parents have gone to like Thailand and stuff.
Wow. Where did you go?
I went to West Virginia. We did a like low-income housing. We were like fixing stuff for people, and then we would hold church services. That was when I was like 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yes. And no. It was
okay.
Yeah. It's good to do good things for people.
Yeah.
But it's wrapped up in a whole lot of dogma that is, to me, bullshit.
Okay, so you're not a believer anymore.
No. All the best parts of it are ruined,
okay.
by all the worst parts of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
We can go more into it.
No,
too.
it doesn't seem like you
want
to at all.
Yeah.
You just kind of went, it sucks. That's what you...
I'll put it this way: is I think my dad. I have a lot of problems with Christianity. I think it's really bad. I think evangelicals are ruining this country. You didn't want to take it this way, but I just.
Oh, we'll keep that out.
Long story short, my dad is the kind of Christian where it's like, oh, well, if everybody was like this guy, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know, because he takes it seriously. His faith like evolves. He's not closed-minded. He's in it to help people and be Christ-like. All that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if people were like him, it'd be fine. But
yeah. Not everybody is.
Yeah.
No. Well, there's maybe you'll go to Texas and start a church there. With your dad.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. West Virginia's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I would move there. No, I wouldn't. I can't believe I said that out loud.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that are beautiful that we would. Arizona's beautiful. I'm not going there.
Very true. So how old were you when you started being like, this isn't the way I want to live my life?
High school.
High school.
Yeah, I had friends that were like starting to get high, and so I started to get high.
Jesus, Sam.
I know.
In high school?
Yeah. I wasn't crazy, but my last like 2 years, I was like smoking pot. Never really liked it also. I did it a lot in high school. And then over the years, I'll maybe get high once every 2 years just to like check in and be like, it's probably going to be fun. And it's never fun.
Never fun.
I'm never going to be, I'm so jealous of people that are like, I'm relaxing by getting high. I'm like, that's fucking awesome that you have that because it scares me every time. So
yeah, I always think like I used to smoke with a dope, all right? And by that I mean like once every 3 weeks. Yeah. I had a little pen.
High school or college?
No, I tried to get high once in college and I ended up blowing it out of the pipe and it flew into my friend's hair.
Oh,
and
sure.
I was like, this isn't
embers.
for me.
Yeah, and you're like, I fucked up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I tried to be like, I've smoked before.
Hey, when that happens.
Yeah. Who hasn't that happened to? And they're like, everyone here. No one's ever done that. But it's okay.
When did you start? That's a pretty good question. When did you start segueing into partying then? Because for me, it was like getting high in high school, but then I didn't really drink until the summer before college, and then a lot in college.
Yeah. Oh, I was told that if you drank, then you would not get your soccer scholarship.
Oh, sure. You had stakes.
I had stakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I fucked, but I didn't do anything else that could ruin that.
Mhm.
I was so afraid of that. And then I got to college, and it literally, the initiation party to making the soccer team, that's the first time I ever had alcohol.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And then I was like, this is a blast. This is who I was supposed to be. Oh, Frank the Tank in Old School.
Yeah.
That
Like
it
once
wa-
it hits your lips,
It
then you're like,
literally just, that is me when I drink
turn
beer.
something on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It totally flipped in college
Sure.
for me, and I became Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
And slutty Frank the Tank, I would say.
Sure.
I like to make out.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I was big old woo.
Sure.
She was a good time.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
I was much the same, actually. But
Yeah.
it was, for me, it was like pretty quick where I was like, once I found my group, it was great.
yes.
It sucked before I had my group because I was getting drunk, but I was like, I don't have friends. Who are you?
Want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Look what I can do with boxes.
Yes.
How long did it take you to find your friends?
Pretty quickly. It was funny. I went to college, and after 2 weeks, I called my dad to ask if I could come home because I didn't have
Oh.
any friends. Yeah, I didn't like any of the people that I lived in my dorm with. My roommate was a guy I went to high school with that I was like kind of friends with, but he was a psychopath, and it very quickly dawned on me like, oh no, this guy sucks.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. And then by chance, I also, there was another guy that I went to high school with at my college, and I was walking into my dorm. They were in the parking lot of my dorm, and he was a coxswain for the rowing team. And he was like, do you want to come? We need extra guys. Because it was men's rowing was a club sport.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. And I met all my friends through rowing.
Aw.
Yeah. And it was essentially a fraternity that like drank 1 day a week when you weren't rowing, and the rest you were just working out a lot. So it was great for me.
Yeah? Did you work out a ton?
Yeah, it's the best shape I was ever in. I wish that I had taken more pictures of myself.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I should have worn less.
Yeah, for less. Go shirtless
Yeah.
for the next 3 years. You're going to love it. Even the 4 years after it, I wish I could go back then and be like, I know you think you're getting fat, buddy. No, you are not.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All the time. I was like, oh, you were sad you were a size 6? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
So-
I hear. But you look great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Same.
I mean, it's a struggle. I get it.
I know.
It's literally like, I'm trying to take this compliment. It hurts, but
I
you
know.
look great, Sam. Hear it.
Thank you.
Accept it.
And you?
Okay, no, we're done. It's over. We're all just trying our best.
Yeah.
So you found rowing.
I found rowing.
Saved little Sammy.
Yeah, it was great. And I really did like it and made a lot of good friends that way. The friends that I stayed friends with through college. And it was great. Yeah.
What was drinking like with them?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was really fun. We were just idiots and morons. But everybody that I was friends with in rowing was really sweet. And I don't know, it felt serendipitous, even thinking about it now, because I felt very lost and like I didn't have friends, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them maybe felt the same way, you know? And then finding that friend group was really sweet. There was a rowing house.
Oh.
There was a rowing house. We never lived there, but then there was a second rowing house that I lived in. And it was just nice. We would have big giant parties. And honestly, I only rowed for maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And then stopped. But I stayed friends with all the...
What made you stop?
It got... A bunch of my friends quit the beginning of the second year. And then everybody else that was left were the people involved in it that I did not even that I didn't like, but I didn't gel with. They weren't my friends. And it became very serious where they were like, we're going to do something on this team. And it was like... Listen, I want to try hard and do good at this, but also it is a club sport. we are all like 5'10". I don't know if you've ever seen great rowers. They're giants. It's like, we're not doing it. We're not beating Harvard, guys.
Yeah. Our coxswain is also 5'10".
Yeah,
We're doing it all wrong.
Exactly. So it just lost its luster for me. And it was more, it just got to the point where I was like, why am I doing this? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's good. You got out.
Yeah.
You moved to New York. And now you're, what is this, thriving? Are we thriving?
Who is, I feel okay.
I feel fine.
Yeah.
So what was your second story? You said you got 2.
Oh, I had a pretty, it's not even that good of a
No,
story.
you got to tell me now.
It's
you dangle the story. You're going to tell the story.
21st birthday story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's not even that good, but...
Don't you shit on it before it hits these ears.
Okay, really drunk, obviously. Going to bed that night, my friend Kirby...
Oh, no, nothing good starts with Kirby.
He's a great guy.
Sure, but I'm sure he's made his mistakes.
Kirby, he has, put me to bed, and he's in his room. Thank God he was there, frankly, because he hears vomiting, and I'm on my back. So
Oh,
he's
no.
Like, huh. But I wasn't asleep. I was already, sitting up. He came out to me covered in my own vomit, and I was like, give me a hug. And he was like, oh, no. So he went and got my own blanket and put it over me and hugged me around my own blanket. And then he was like, are you okay? I'm going to get you water. Turn on your side. And I was like, okay. And then all I remember is waking up the morning after my 21st birthday. Before I opened my eyes, I moved my arm a little bit and felt in my armpit hair something crusted. And I just go, that's vomit. That's 100% vomit. And what it was Cocoa. I had eaten a bowl of Cocoa Krispies before bed because they had made me. They were like, sure, a bowl of milk will be good. That's what I threw up. It was all over. And I fucked up our suede cream couch. My roommate, Devin, the guy that got me into rowing, has never forgiven me. Rightfully so. Yeah, it was really bad.
What'd you do to the cream couch?
Well, it dribbled down from my body and just got on it. And I don't know if you know this. Thrown up Cocoa Krispies looks like shit. It looked like I just shat diarrhea. I could have. I don't know. So that was, yeah.
Oh, did they make you clean it up?
Yeah, but I didn't do a good job. We ended up just flipping the cushions, and it was fine, but I really fucked him up. Really bad.
Oh, I remember one time I went drinking with my friend. I think her name was Sheila. We're really close.
Yeah. You want to talk about a name that'll get you into trouble. Yeah.
Oh, Sheila. She was nuts. We went partying. We came back. I fell asleep on her couch. I threw up, and this is in the dorm, where it was second year. So there was a living room, and then there was 2 other or 3 rooms that people shared, like a communal living room and kitchen, basically. And so I ended up passing out on their couch, throwing up, and the next day, and I left, and I cleaned it up. And then the next day, she called me and she was like, so my roommate's complaining that it still smells. Can you come back over and clean it up some more? It was humiliating. So I mean, I'm not going to say no. I'm not an asshole. So I come over and I'm on all fours.
Did it still smell?
It did smell. Oh, for sure. It smelled terribly. And I'm on all fours scrubbing. And then one girl comes up. She's like, do you want to try this? They're just giving me
different cleaning supplies.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what I ate, but I will do whatever you need because I feel terrible. That was the most shame I've ever felt with drinking. I feel like.
I had, to this day, I think we're cool now, but I have a very good friend. My best friend in comedy is Alex Stone, who's a great writer and comic out in L.A. And there is a comedy festival in Cincinnati called the Brouhaha, outdoor beer drinking comedy festival. It is a bad comedy festival, but the hangs are epically good. It's very fun. And this was when I was living in New York, so we all are meeting all these Cincinnati comics, and we stay at Alex's girlfriend's house. We get annihilated. And it's me, Alex Stone, and Sally Brooks. And we all pass out. Alex throws up outside. Sally throws up in the toilet. And then I am asleep on Maura's couch,
Mm-hmm.
and I wake up. I have to vomit, and I just stand up to go vomit. And by the time I stand up, I'm vomiting. So again, I got a real history of vomiting on myself. And I just stand up, vomit, pass back out. Alex's girlfriend, Maura, wakes up the next day to go to her job to find just vomit all over her brand new white shag carpet.
Oh, no.
Brand new. And Sally is like asleep next to it. And Maura just wakes her up to go, hey, everything's fine, but just, I want you to roll over like 5 feet that way because you're right asleep next to this vomit. And then we all wake up. I see what I've done. Alex is in trouble. I am very much in trouble. And then we go to get stuff to clean it. And I am so hungover by the time we get back to the apartment that I can't move. Mm-hmm. And I just lay on the couch and like I've passed out before. And Alex is just cleaning my vomit. And I wake up to him cleaning it and I roll over and I just go, listen, I need you to know that I know it is not always easy to be my friend. And this is one of those times and I am so sorry. And I was really we were not on good terms and it was absolutely my fault for a while.
You guys are good now, though, yes?
Yeah.
Is he still with the girlfriend?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What an angel.
She is. She really is. She's a saint. Maura, if you hear this, hello.
I wish you well.
Yeah. I have. That's the other thing, too, is anytime I would go, I would just, nobody's great when they're drunk.
No.
You know? But I would turn into this pathetic, like, come on, buddy. Get together. Yeah.
Now, during the pandemic, how's been drinking with you? Has it been more, less?
It stayed. There was definitely, when we were alone, like before everybody was seeing any other people, you know, and we were just alone in an apartment, there was a period where we were drinking a lot of wine, but it didn't register. We weren't like getting fucked up.
Yeah.
We would just have like 2 glasses of wine a night, which is enough to kill a bottle between 2 people, depending on the size of the glasses.
Yeah.
So we would go through like a bottle of wine a night. But it didn't feel like we were getting drunk. And that was only for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then after a while, we were like, this is great, but we don't need this. Yeah. And it's pretty expensive.
It gets real pricey. Yeah.
So outside of that, no, I don't think. And that was just the first 3 months where it was still a shock. You know, you would cry occasionally. Before the pandemic, Carmen had seen me cry once, and now she has seen me cry 4 or 5 times.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
What I realized the other night, we were playing Catan, and I got drunk.
This is what I like about you, by the way. You are delightfully candid, and I feel that is how we are similar. Is that anytime there's a moment where you're like, poof, well, I'm going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to let you know that you're not alone.
Right.
And so like I had just hosted a show that was outdoors, and I was hanging with all my friends.
Sure.
And it was like I was walking back to the train. I had this realization. I was like, I used to do this every single night. Every single night I used to host a show. I used to make enough money to pay for my rent, and I used to see all my friends, and I used to make people laugh. It was like, that's the best my life has ever been, and it is gone. And it has not been back. And I came home, and when I get sad, I clean. And so you saw me, I started breaking down boxes.
You came in to your own apartment, and as soon as you came in, I want you to know that there was a part of me that saw you, and I wanted to say to you, would you like me to leave? Because I love you, but I know when somebody needs to be alone, and that's what it felt like.
You know, no,
you were also not being rude. I just could see it on your face.
It was just, and what, am I going to be alone with 3 roommates? Like, there's no way I'm going to be alone, Sam. So come over whenever you want, you know. And but it was just like I came in, and I had already like been fighting back tears on the train, and like fighting back, like walking in. And then I saw you, and I was actually happy to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the game of Catan, and I was like, I want to play Catan. And I was like, they already have 4. They just started. Fuck, this is going to take forever. Hopefully they play again. I'm going to clean. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with you.
Sure.
So I start cleaning, break down all the boxes, and start cleaning the bedroom. I take out the trash.
Sure.
I'm like, just stay busy. And then I decide to open a bottle of wine, and then we finally get to play Catan, and I'm like, we're doing great. Things are turning around. Everything's fine. And then I snap at one of my best friends.
Sure.
And I was like, well, there's nothing stopping this now. And then I went in to her bedroom after the game was over, which I won, by the way. Only a broken competitive person would have to mention that. And I went into her bedroom and I apologized,
Sure.
and then immediately just start bawling all over the place. And then I like couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like went into my bedroom, couldn't stop crying. I like had to put on like Calm to try and like, because I was like so sad.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I think that was the first time I cried this whole pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well then you got mileage. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
I think
actually.
there might have been one when I got bed bugs. My roommate got bed bugs at my old house.
Okay.
And I was like, well, we can never go back. And I might have been sad about that, but
Sure.
that was more about bed bugs.
The stress of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been sad this whole time, but I don't think I've ever cried about it.
Do you cry a lot?
Not, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. I cry when I feel like I'm in trouble.
Sure. Yeah.
Like my dad used to shout a lot. And so whenever
Okay.
someone raises their voice at me,
Uh-huh.
I just immediately start weeping.
Sure. Yeah.
All of my sisters do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
And my dad has since apologized. He's gone
Sure.
through years of therapy, and
Yeah.
he's
There's
great
growth.
now.
Yeah.
He doesn't raise his voice anymore. He now just sits on the couch and plays with his dog. But yeah, I'll cry if someone raises their voice at me, or if something hits a note.
Yeah.
Like hits the button.
Sure.
I told you that story about when I lost 20 pounds, and I was like, I'm going to wear a tank top on stage. And then I asked Steve if I could tell jokes in this tank top, and he said, well, you'll always look masculine, so I think it's yeah, you'll always, your arms will always be there. And I was like, boom, like just started weeping.
I have heard that story from both of your angles, and both times I have been like, well, you were in the wrong, Steve. But it is so funny to hear him be like, what I meant to, it's a very, what had happened, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's have a conversation about word choice,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to hear was, Kaylin, you're too hot to tell those jokes anymore.
Yeah. Don't wear it because I don't want to lose you.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, he was like, well, you always kind of look like a man. So
Sure.
I was like, great. He said I had a masculine build. And I was like, well, why am I even trying?
Sure. I think comics are so good at being descriptive in an awful way about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can always do jokes about the worst thing you hate about yourself. You know what I mean? You get
Absolutely.
really good at it.
Yeah.
So when you have a partner where you're like, I need you to pick up my self-esteem, what you don't realize is that you are like an enemy to that, where you want to challenge every good thing they say.
Yes.
So it becomes this sick, like, tell me I'm beautiful. No, debate me on it. It's
I will win this argument.
Yeah. Here's why I'm an ugly piece of shit.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. So that night, it all came out. I was just a sad lady.
Yeah. Also, that colors it completely differently for me too. I mean, I was already sympathetic to you, but the fact that you haven't cried at all, really, during the pandemic.
About the pandemic, yeah, no.
Oh, buddy, it's okay. It's okay.
I really snapped.
Yeah. It's I hate to. Well, no, I don't hate to. But another joke that I love, I really love, is Jordan Temple has one about that verse in the Bible where it's like Jesus wept. And he's like, it sucks that it doesn't also say like, so one of the apostles was like, what are you crying about, Jesus? And Jesus goes, it's not one big thing, it's a lot of little things. Which is such a good joke, Yeah. And it's so true about, what's wrong, fucking what's not wrong.
Yeah.
That's when I cry. You know.
Yeah. Everything has gone wrong.
Mhm.
Oof. Well, on that note,
I knew. I was like, it's ending right now. I know it.
well, do you have another story?
An uplifting story?
Yeah. Let's
Do I have a happy
Do you have any more buffoonery? Those are fun.
buffoonery? I told you all the ones where I throw up on myself.
Do you and Carmen get into the dumb stuff when you're drinking? Or do you just, like, Steve and I will just, like, get drunk and watch a movie and have the best time?
We don't get drunk at the same time.
No.
Yeah, it's usually she gets drunk, but occasionally I will and she's not. And it's always the sober one corralling the drunk one.
Uh-huh.
And I feel it's bad. It's not bad because it's always like, but I always brace for it. But now it's gotten to the point where she shows up like drunk. She'll come home from a show and she's drunk. I'm like, are you drunk? And she's like, yes, I'm sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. And she is covert about it. She's very good at having like an exterior where you're like, oh, you're fine. You seem stone cold sober. And then as soon as we leave, she's like a little too chatty. I'm like, oh no. And she gets very physical. She's got like, she'll do eagle talons where she's just trying to like love me, but it's like tickling, but it's sharp grips. And I'm like, baby, you gotta chill. It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fun. There's a lot of hate tickle.
Yeah. And then it's, if you try to put up a wall, then it like, just give me some distance. I just need some space. And then it's like, why are you doing this? And it's always fun the next day. Because I'll be like, did I cry last night? Yeah, you cried while you were peeing. Why? Because I wouldn't hug you while you were peeing. Or something like that, you know?
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, COVID has really gotten couples to really, you're going to make it or you're not.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. You're like, well, I know where my line is, and I'm not going to hug you while you pee.
Yeah.
Good for you. Way to have boundaries.
Sure. I'm sure I probably ended up hugging her while she peed. Probably she started crying, and I was like, all right, I love you.
Yeah, water can't be coming out of both ends. I got to plug one of them. Oh, well, Sam, this was very fun.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, we had a nice chit-chat.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
I'm on all social media at Really Sam Evans. Really Sam Evans at Gmail if you want to email me.
Yeah, send him a note.
Yeah, be my pen pal.
Tell him it's okay to cry.
Yeah. And I have an album out. It's called Sweet Baby Boy. It's available on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Pandora, Tidal.
What's Tidal?
It's Jay-Z's platform.
Jesus Christ, another thing to try and get on.
I know. But yeah, check that out.
Yeah, do it. It's very funny. He's a delight, and he's very funny too. So find all of his clippy poos.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. You didn't touch your water.
I'm gonna chug it.
Second fucking glass.